Welcome back to the Bridgeton Beacon. Today I am speaking with Bruce Riley. Bruce is the owner of Ultra Clean Technologies Corporation, which is a contamination removal solutions company for tubes and tube assemblies. But he's here today to speak with me about Bridgeton. And Bruce is the 2022 recipient of the Francis Sharp Lifetime Achievement Award, along with his wife, Deborah. I think this might be the first time that a husband and wife both received the award, so I want to make sure I mention that. And I wanted to just have an opportunity to talk to Bruce about his love for Bridgeton, which has gone on for many, many years. Bruce, welcome.
Thank you very much, Megan, and thanks for having me on your show.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. So you are the soon-to-be recipient of the Francis Sharp Lifetime Achievement Award, and congratulations on that.
Okay, thank you very much. Tony Stanzione and Carol Musa came to our office at Ultra Clean probably about 6 weeks ago and told us that the chamber board had voted for that, and that was very nice. A little embarrassing at the same time. I'm like, okay, I don't know that we're really old enough. You
don't have the award in hand yet, so I'll try not to ask you anything that's going to make them want to retract it.
Okay.
Now, this is not the first time, though, that you have been honored by the Bridgeton Area Chamber of Commerce, correct? You were honored a couple years back with the Gary Zimmerman Award, am I right?
That is correct, and I think 1 year Ultra Clean got their one of their business awards as well, which is also flattering.
Well deserved. And, I was reading a write-up that was done, and, one of the things that was mentioned was that you and Deborah were instrumental in coordinating the restoration of the walking paths and the wooden bridges down in the city park, which is just fantastic. I mean, I grew up in Bridgeton and, used to always take walks along the raceway, canoe right along there. And what a wonderful thing to do. And when we, Bridgeton, we have one of the most beautiful parks and zoos, in my opinion, in the whole state. And it's really great to see a focus on, keeping it a place that people are going to want to go and, spend some time on their lunch hour after work or in the morning. So, kudos to you, truly. What led you to do that? Had you spent some time in the park? Is that something that you like, a place you like to go?
Well, just like you mentioned, right? Your parents took you there when you were young. And basically the same thing happened, 55 years ago with my parents, taking my sister and I to the park, to Piney Point, Stony Point, and we had dogs back then. And I can remember my sister and I couldn't wait to get out of the car and run those trails and go across the boardwalk and then the bridges that were there, so they were like great memories for sure. And then there's a period in your life where you probably don't visit it. You're busy raising a family and doing that type of thing. And I'm going to go back maybe 15 years ago. My wife and I started doing a lot of walking on weekends or after work. And we would walk the trails, and we'd get to a certain point, and you couldn't get from one side of the lake to the other. And I'm like, this is crazy. Why haven't these bridges been put back in? I think they were taken out many years ago, probably in the late 70s when Mary Elmer Lake went out, the dam went out, and the floodwaters went through, and that was the end of the boardwalk and the bridges. So the first thing we did, and it was with lots of help, it wasn't just my wife and I. We had several volunteers and also a Boy Scout troop, and one of the young men was working on his Eagle Scout credentials, and he took the project on and got the lumber donated And then I got a group of guys, I'll use the word professional carpenters, that were able to bring their electric tools and air compressors and that type of thing. And we put the boardwalk in over 2 Saturdays, which was great. That still left a problem. Once the boardwalks were in and you got to the stream, connects Mary Elmer Lake and Sunset Lake, there was no way to get across. And then that took another couple of years with permitting and figuring out how to build the bridge and how to put footings in, and the technology that was out there, because you're not allowed to go into the water for supports. So yeah, another couple of years doing the research and hiring engineering firms to do the studies and that type of thing. And it was just a lot of fun.
That's no small undertaking. That's no small undertaking.
Was,
so how long from start to finish?
So start to finish. So if start to finish means once the bridges actually were manufactured, I would say it was a couple-month project to put the footings in. And there's something called a concrete till that's engineered with long pipes that get driven through those down into the ground to support the bridge. Probably a couple of months, because then we had to put the boards on the bridges. There was quite a bit to it.
Right, but it sounds like from the idea until the conclusion was a couple of years. Yeah, a couple of years.
Yeah,
wow.
A couple of years.
That's great.
And
when was it completed?
It was completed about 3 years ago.
Nice.
Late summer. And, again, it was the idea was there, but then, several people working on it. And then kudos to the Chamber of Commerce and also the Bridgeton Rotary Club for helping to raise the funds to pay for the bridges and the supports and everything else that went along with it, the engineering, and naturally all the work to put the bridges in. There was no charge from anybody for that. All those guys just really enjoyed the project.
Wow, and you think about all the future families now that will be able to make memories walking along those paths and on those bridges, thanks to your idea and Deborah's idea and the help of many others, it sounds like. So that's really great. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so it's a good thing, and we walk the bridges all the time with our dog. He seems to like the bridges and the boardwalk, and there's quite a few people that use it on a daily basis, which is great.
You have been a local businessman for decades. You started out with Cumberland Valve in the early 80s, and then what did you sell that in around 2013?
Yeah, I think it was somewhere right around 2013. That's correct.
But along the way, you developed this really neat technology, and I was kind of reading a little bit about it, and I was hoping maybe you could explain it a little bit. Ultra Clean Technologies Corporation began in the mid to late 90s. What is it that you do?
Well, so great question. So with Cumberland Valve, we made a lot of hydraulic hose assemblies for our customers. And there needed to be a way to clean those hose assemblies. And since I knew the hose industry, we would attend conventions, and we actually saw a similar product to what we manufacture today. And we started to import that product. I think it was around 96. Importing product is okay, but there was always supply chain issues, quality issues, and the company that we imported from actually sold, and when they sold, we were left without a product. So then we started to manufacture in early 2000, and from there we developed many new products for basically the fluid power industry to not only clean the inside of a hose or a tube, but to also encapsulate the end to keep it clean. And, the products get developed over a 22-year period. We're still developing products here. We have a full-time engineer. And
sounds very scientific.
Yeah, well, somewhat scientific, I guess you could say. It's It's a unique product. We do have competitors in the market, but we don't have competitors that do all of the things that we do, from the cleaning to the capping. And we don't do this cleaning or capping ourselves. Our customers buy the product, and then with our product, they do their own cleaning and capping of hose assemblies or tube assemblies that they fabricate. And manufacturing is quite different than just doing distribution like we did with Cumberland Valve. And we sell the product globally. And the customer base is, I'll use the word cool. We love the companies that we sell to. They're all big name, not all big name companies, but a lot of big name companies, Caterpillar and John Deere, Boeing, SpaceX. They buy our products every week for all of the hoses and tubes that they fabricate, or they on-sell it to their dealer network. So if you ride down the street and you see a Caterpillar dealer, that Caterpillar dealer is required to clean and cap every hose assembly that they fabricate, and it's our product that they're using. And we actually private label it for those larger companies. We put their name on it, their part number, that type of thing. So it actually looks like it's their product.
And it is a local company, right? You employ a lot of local folks, but it has a global reach. I mean, you're selling all around the world. Am I correct?
You're correct. So after North America, our next biggest market would be Europe. And we have a logistics company there that we send a container to every month, or maybe a couple a month, that type of thing. And then they store our product, and when the orders come in, we send the orders over via email. They pick and pull the order and send it to our customers.
How many employees do you have?
Here in Bridgeton, we have 38 employees.
Wow. I was checking out your Facebook page. It looks like it's a really fun place to work.
Well, most of the time. I wouldn't say all of the time.
Well,
depending on the problems that occur, right? But
I can tell that it's almost. And look, any good company is going to have tough days, but it sounds like, and it looks like you have almost like a family-like atmosphere, just from looking at the. At your social media, which is neat. I think that's really great. And again, you're providing this service to Bridgeton through this local company that's employing a number of people, which is wonderful. And you're out on Route 77, correct?
On 77 in the old Starbound Gymnastics building, which we completely renovated, and basically a empty shell when we bought it. So it's quite different now than what it was back then. And I would say it's kind of like a family atmosphere here. Most of our employees are long-term. We don't have a lot of employee turnover, that's for sure. So, we're very happy with the staff that we have, and we all try to work together for the common goal of creating product and getting it to our customers, And it's a quality product for sure.
It's so great to hear a thriving business in Bridgeton. A lot of people that I speak with talk about, how when Owens closed and Ritter's closed and things kind of changed a little bit in town. It's so nice to hear about a thriving business. And on top of that, you maintain, the community connections through, all of the things that you do. I mean, I could sit here and read off for 5 minutes all the different, organizations and services that you've done. You are a member of the Bridgeton Rotary, a member of obviously the Bridgeton Area Chamber of Commerce, but you also maintain, personal friendships. And I happened to meet you at one of your morning breakfast meetings, and a little birdie told me you actually have a second breakfast club that you're part of, which I didn't know. So can you share a little bit about these two breakfast clubs and, maybe, unless they're like secret.
No, they're not secret, but, going back, oh my gosh, 35 years ago, I was very young at the time, and it was an older group of men, and they got together, 5-6 days a week, and it was a very nice atmosphere. And then, unfortunately, Megan, what happens, right, as people get older, this great group of Bridgeton men started to pass away, and then one breakfast group would join another, as this happened, and so it's kind of funny how all of that happens, and now there's only a handful of us left, which is very unfortunate, and it's basically a social thing where which is not really organized, I wouldn't say it that way, but I go twice a week, and Tuesdays and Thursdays, and the other days I stay home and have breakfast. But it's nice to get out and socialize and start your day off that way. Start your day off good in most cases.
Yeah,
maintain
for sure. Those connections. And I'm also told that there was a period of time where you had some Saturday morning breakfast at your home.
Yeah, that's correct. We would do that a couple times.
I did my research on you, Bruce.
You've been talking to somebody. But yeah, so we would put on it was a larger breakfast, not just for the people that would come to our breakfast group, but a larger group of people that maybe didn't come out to breakfast, and my wife and I would cook a large breakfast, and it was just a way for people to get together and talk about things and enjoy each other's company. And then when COVID hit, that kind of stopped. But we did do it again this summer. We did it once, and it was very nice, and it was well attended. And it's just a relaxed atmosphere when you can do it at home. And I look forward to doing that next summer as well.
Good. I think it's so important. I've said this in other interviews. A lot of people like to reminisce about the town, but my focus is also on the people in town like you that are really contributing through your work, through your community involvement. Through something, seemingly as simple as cleaning up the park, which it doesn't sound like it was simple at all, but spending your time and your energy into, our great city of Bridgeton. I think it's just such a wonderful thing. And, I just commend you. What is it about Bridgeton for you that makes you've had a business that you have expanded tremendously. You give back in so many ways. What is it about Bridgeton that makes you want to do those things?
Well, I would say that when you have a happy childhood and you enjoyed what Bridgeton offered, it was the friendships, the family, that type of thing, right? That's your roots. Mm-hmm. And
you're a Bridgeton High School graduate?
That is correct. Yeah, 1978. We have a reunion coming up next year. It'll be 45 years. That's kind of hard to believe that, but time goes on, and it goes on quickly. And a lot of people will come back for that reunion for sure. So it's always nice to see everybody. And, again, when I talk about unfortunate things, oh my gosh, at our 40th year reunion, we had a table set up with name cards of classmates that had passed away. It was kind of mind-boggling to see how many name cards were on that table. And it just makes you realize how important it is to get together and to attend those reunions, because you just never know, right? And I always tell people, you may not want to come, but there may be somebody there that wants to see you. So you have to look at it that way. But yeah, the roots and enjoying what Bridgeton offered. When people move away, they have to get a new set of friends, that type of thing. I think that I feel fortunate that to have the connections and the friends from the past or from the very beginning. There's something to be said for that.
There certainly is. There certainly is. One thing I wanted to ask you about was I read where back in 2011 at the 10-year anniversary of 9/11, I guess you were still the owner of Cumberland Valve, which was that on Shiloh Pike?
That's correct, yeah.
And that you had created or built a tribute, a memorial to 9/11. Can you tell me about that? Because I had just read that and I didn't know about that. I hadn't seen it. But from what I'm told, it was one of the largest tributes in pretty much the whole area or region.
Yeah, it turned out to be pretty big. That's for sure. So the whole horrible thing with 9/11. When you take 10 years, that's a significant anniversary for sure. Something needed to be done, and that was actually the first community thing I would say that my wife and I actually did together in an organized fashion. And again, a lot of help from the chamber, from the local community to put that on. And I've told the story before. It was, when you want to do something and you really don't know how to do it, you have to look for those people that excel in doing things for the community. And there were a lot of people, but the three main people that I looked to was Carol Musso, Tony Stanzione, and Jody Hirata, because they were doing a lot of things through the Chamber of Commerce for the Bridgeton area. So I'm like, okay, how are we going to do this? Something needs to be done, and that's where I went first. I ran the idea by them. They jumped on board, and it was really and truly their expertise that made all of that work. Because they were used to doing those types of projects. So I would say my wife and I truly learned a lot from them. And then that kind of propelled us into doing other things for the community. We were truly blessed to have them as part of our team. And again, there were many other people as well, Bill Whalen and Kenny Freitag and quite a few others that helped out. And it was an amazing thing to see how many people came out to support that effort and remember all of those who passed.
It's significant to me that you had the idea, and you just as you had the idea to renovate those paths at the park. You were also the idea maker behind a movie that was released through the Cumberland Groves and the Bridgeton Area Chamber of Commerce to promote economic development in our area. And I think the movie was entitled Hometown Heart with a Global Reach. Tell me about
correct. That. You've done a lot of research, for sure. Well, that was a Chamber of Commerce project, and with our business at Ultra Clean, we use a lot of video to promote product. We have our own YouTube channel, that type of thing at Ultra Clean.
Oh, do you? I didn't know that. And I'll say I didn't. What is your YouTube channel? I don't mean.
All
right. Well, I'm gonna look. Well, you keep talking. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, you look that up.
Okay.
But because of the videos that we would do for work, if you want to promote a product, it's easy to do it with a video. So why not do Cumberland County via a video and, having a link on an email address or on your emails, that type of thing. A lot of people would see that link, click on it, and they could learn about Bridgeton and Cumberland County and what we have to offer, right? And as a community, we need to bring more businesses in. It's been, I would say, more difficult for Bridgeton than Vineland or Millville. It's the great thing that they have is 55, as well as land and a really nice industrial park. But here on the western side of the county, we don't have that dual lane highway going through our city. So it makes it a little bit more difficult. So the movie was a way to help promote the area. And we used all local people in that, even for producing it with Keith Wasserman. And he did a fantastic job of putting that together for us. And again, it was another fun project that we did. And it says a lot about our area for sure.
It does. All right, I found your YouTube channel, Ultra Clean Tech.
That is it.
Anybody who wants to check that out, that's pretty neat. Yeah, and I think you are absolutely correct. To the extent that our town, our area can be promoted, what better way than through audio, visual. That can be put out on social media and draw attention to all of the wonderful things that make Bridgeton the great city of Bridgeton. It's your ideas. What other ideas? Do you have any ideas that you're working on for the future, or anything that you have been
actually
thinking about? Tell me.
Yeah. So when the bridge project finished up, the three main people that I worked with on that project, one was P.J. Lehman, Roland DeWilde, and Harry Gandy. They basically all said the same thing at the end of the project, and that was, what are we going to do next? Which was very nice to hear, right? Because they really enjoyed it, as well as myself.
They weren't saying we're not answering the phone next time Bruce calls. Correct.
They were ready for another project, and where the bridges are in the park, there's a very steep hill. On the one side, I would call it the West Avenue or West Park Drive side of the bridges, and that hill, in my opinion, is somewhat dangerous. You can go up it, not so difficult, but coming down, it's slippery and it's steep. So we want to build a set of steps, a stairway going up that hill with railings. To make it much safer for people to get from the bottom to the top. So that is a project that I would like to announce at the Chamber Awards dinner in a couple of weeks.
Excellent.
To let people know about that.
Excellent. I think that's a fantastic idea. And from the sounds of it, your ideas don't stay ideas for very long. And so I'm sure.
So you have to make it a reality. Yeah, and just yesterday, I was with one of my employees, and I said, do you mind if we stop at the bridges real quick? I need to take a couple of pictures. And I was with our inside sales manager. Her name is Joymi Nunez, and she said, no, I've never seen them, so let's do that. And I told her to be very careful walking down the steep hill, which she was, so we made out okay. But when we got to the bottom, there was an older gentleman coming across the bridges with his dog, and we had a little bit of a conversation. And I asked him, I said, the steep hill on the other side. I said, do you go up that with your dog? He said, yeah, I do. He said, but not too long ago, I was coming down, I slipped, I fell, and I tumbled all the way down to the very bottom. I'm like, okay, we need to get these stairway put in, or steps put in, to make this safer for everybody. And once you do that, more people will use the park, more people will walk the trails. Right. And that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about, yeah. And you being able to see a need and fill a need, which sounds like, what you've been doing for a really long time. So,
yeah.
So I
Yeah,
like
we're going
to
to make them a really nice step or a set of steps. It's not going to be just some wood thrown together. It's going to be beautiful when we're done.
Oh, I know it will be. Well, I'm going to keep my eye out on it, and I would love to help if I could in any way. I like to try to ask.
I'll make sure you know about it then.
Okay, you do. Do that. I like to try to ask my guests, again, this is the Bridgeton Beacon. We focus on folks that I refer to as the beacons of Bridgeton. Who would you suggest that I ask to join me on this podcast? Is there anyone that you can we can peer pressure into coming on that I can talk to?
So you and I kind of talked about this the other day, and we mentioned Jim Bergman, basically local Bridgeton historian, and the knowledge that he has of the Bridgeton area and what it was 100 years ago or 150 years ago. He's quite amazing.
I actually spoke with him on the phone last night, so I think that's in the works.
You? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's in the works.
Okay, good. Yeah, he's a really interesting guy. And when we were putting the boardwalks in, he actually came down with a large map of the city park that was done well over 100 years ago. And I still have that map. And I'll tell you this real quick, Megan, that's another project. The trails 100 years ago had specific names. And there is no trail signage today, and that's another project that we're going to do. And I'd really like to use the names of the trails that were there 100 years ago or 150 years ago. Right?
I love that. That's fantastic. Name? That's a great idea.
So we need the signage. We need to mark the trails. So when people are walking, they just follow a certain color, and they know where they're going. So we'll have maps and trail signs and that type of thing.
Yeah, I'd love to see.
And we do have
the
a
canoe
beautiful
house
park
open up again.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah,
that would be great.
I love that's something that I always did was. I grew up on Lake Street, so we had access to Jetty's Pond across the street, and that kind of could feed into the raceway. So that was something that I always did as a kid. Yeah. With my dad.
Yeah, it's a nice place to canoe for sure. Yeah, and having the memories of doing it with your father, that's great. Sure.
So, well, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to speak with me, and again, I'd like to just congratulate you and your wife Deborah on the Francis Sharp Lifetime Achievement Award. I actually am doing a little bit of research on Francis Sharp because this is an award that is given out every year by the Bridgeton Area Chamber of Commerce, and I think it would be kind of neat to do a little something on him. So I will do that. But from everything I've heard, you and Deborah emulate the qualities that people found so wonderful in him, and that is that connection to community, and in all of the projects that you have done, all of, over the years, decades, you've certainly set an example for others. And I think that's what's, I think, in my opinion, so special is that when people see, enthusiasm, it's kind of like the domino effect, right? People want to help and want to get involved in it and come up with new ideas to continue the tradition of our town being the great city that it is.
Absolutely.
Bruce,
and
thank you very much.
Thank you for asking me. Yeah, you made it easy.
Well, maybe you can come back and you can. I don't want to put you on the spot, but you can tell me some fun stories about the breakfast clubs.
I don't know if they'd all be allowed to be told on the air, but
yeah, I won't. Like I said, I won't put you on the spot.
There's a lot of stories.
Listen, I want you to get that Lifetime Achievement Award first, then we'll have you come back on.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thanks again for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe anywhere you listen.